So they separated Tony and I into different rooms. We went to the offices. And, shoot, way over. Anyway, they separated us into different offices and we were interviewed. And I offered up everything. You can have my phone, you can have my computer, you can have it all. I have receipts. I know everything I did that day. I still can tell you what I had for lunch, right? And I offered it all up. And they asked me, do you know anyone who could do this? Oh, goodness, no. Goodness, no. Like, I don't know anybody who could do this. But they did ask me about my ex-husband and his wife. I just, we're co-parents. I don't know, I truly that night did not know, but I did tell them, she's lying. She's lying about the school and everything that day. So, wherever that lands, right? I was being objective. Tony told me to. So I watched the strategies of our law enforcement team, and they selected Will. That's not his real name. Attractive guy or type. He was awesome. He was hand-picked. It used to make me angry when he'd come to the house to take her for interviewing, because she'd come out all freshly showered, red lipstick, makeup on. This is a person that didn't get out of yoga pants, right? She had jeans, red tight top, heels. Heels. I didn't think she owned heels. She comes out ready to go for an interview. And I'm thinking, are you serious right now? I can't even get my stuff straight to get in a shower, let alone do all of that, right? But she was getting ready for her interview. I know now that that was an intentional move by law enforcement, right? This was our first press conference. They had arranged with somebody in the community, a church that was right across the school, or from the school, to host all the press. That was critical for our case. There was a lot of media, and you got to keep them corralled, right? But this was where we were staged. Over to the left, you can see Mary Lindstrand. She was our PIO. She helped me in the very beginning with all kinds of stuff. I had no idea about media. Standing up in front of cameras, oh my gosh, I wanted to die. I didn't know about any of that stuff. She was critical to us. We still use her tools today. One of the, it was a couple months in, we had a really bad day. And your PIOs need to be connected to news updates and stuff. Well, the lead detective, Mary, didn't update me. But somewhere in the United States, I believe it was Maine, I might have that wrong, but they had found a little boy who had been murdered. No one gave me a heads up. I get a call from a Medford news station. And she starts describing a child that sounds exactly like Kyron. And I am having a heart attack. I am losing it. I am at work and I am losing it. They found Kyron. And she starts to realize what's happening. And she's like, oh no. No, it's not Kyron. Would have been handy for her to open with that. But no, it's another boy. I'm calling to get your reaction.
Oh, goodness.
That, and in the first several weeks, we would get phone calls from Fox News on the East Coast, 2 in the morning. Well, I'm not sleeping anyway, but I'm going to grab the phone, and he'd block his number. And I told him, do not block your number. Law enforcement does that. You're giving me a heart attack before I can even get on the phone. And it's just the media asking for an update. That's not a thing. We're in Oregon. Don't call me at 2 in the morning, right? And then we had Willamette Weekly. They would come into press conferences and constantly push that tabloid thought process. They wouldn't focus on Kyron or the facts. They were focused on all the dirt, right? And so we ended up having to make a really hard decision and asking them to leave press conferences. They were not welcome. And I say this because to this point, that difficult decision, I still have never granted them interviews. I won't. Because you have to stay true to the facts, you have to stay true to Kyron, and you have to honor him. And those are the rules that I have upheld. Even though I have waged the biggest photo campaign to keep my son's face out there, I select certain people that are trusted for that. And that's important, because if we don't get our child's face out there, we're never going to find him. So we have to keep him in the news. As heart-wrenching as that is, I have to keep his face out there, and I have to keep his story out there. And so we always pick KGW. I love KGW. They're awesome. They always cover honestly on the facts, and they are critical to us. Kyle specifically, he has been covering it since day one, and he is great. There's Mary. I'm still friends with her today. She went to the academy with Tony. I had no idea, but she was the one that called me by mom. Yeah. It was a rough start. We've also searched off the island based on phone pings that we got from Terry's phone. Thank God, bless her heart. She put everything in writing. She was always on that phone, computer, everything. We have tons of evidence. I specifically launched a civil suit for Kyron, trying to get Terri to compel her to get her to tell us where Kyron was. It had to be dismissed because law enforcement wouldn't give me the file, and it would impact missing children after me, which I was not wanting to take on that onus. So I had to dismiss it. But the one thing that it did do is it helped us to identify Terry's friend Dee Dee Spicer. It helped us to identify the telephones that they were using, the throwaway phones, to communicate with each other after Kyron went missing. And she did help law enforcement locate them. She had tossed them, but she did help to recover those. And we now know the DA back in 2012 offered Dee Dee Spicer full immunity. I didn't know that then. We now have found evidence on those cell phones that Dee Dee did this for Terri. The only thing we need to figure out is where is Kyron, right? And we need to hold Terri and Dee Dee accountable. So it's critical. So what's next? I'm gonna keep searching for my son. I'm gonna keep holding pressure on Terri. She lives in Clear Lake, California now. And we were just down there last weekend. And the community there is awesome. Super supportive. They put all of Kyron's flyers up. We only had one neighbor that apparently is Terry's friend that didn't really like us being there. She asked me, what about forgiveness? I said, oh, yeah. I will absolutely forgive her as soon as she brings me my son. Totally, I'm on it. So ask her that. You want to bring me my son? Yeah. But everybody else was super supportive. And we're planning a little visit to Klamath Falls for Dee Dee Spicer. We're going to put some pressure on her too. So that's what we're up to. And this is the new flyer for Kyron. He would be 22 on the night. And it's crazy to even think about. He's still 7 in my mind. We still have his trike. And we still have his basketball hoop, and he's still a little kid to me, you know? But then again, my 30-year-old who's gonna be here later, I just can't even. But anyway,